Hi parents, and welcome back to Kindness Milk. I'm Regina Kincaid, lactation consultant and mum of 4, and today we're talking about cluster feeding. In pandemic times you may have heard a lot about clusters, but joking aside, as a new parent you may wonder whether your baby's feeding behavior is normal and what cluster feeding is. Cluster feeding is when your baby has several feedings close together in clusters during a certain period of time, often in the late afternoon or evening. Cluster feeding is normal newborn behavior and doesn't necessarily mean that there is something wrong with your baby or your milk supply, provided that your baby is showing signs of effective attachment and milk transfer. What may cluster feeding look like? Baby is nursing for short periods of time, coming off the breast, going back onto the breast, feeding a bit more, fussing, nursing again, hiccuping, and so on. It can sometimes be difficult to distinguish cluster feeding from colic, as behavior may be similar. However, a cluster feeding baby is usually soothed and satisfied during a nursing session. Cluster feeding probably meets a combination of needs that babies have during certain developmental stages, such as establishing a full milk supply during the first 6 to 8 weeks postpartum, when they put in their milk order for the coming weeks and months. Meeting the demands of growth spurts, especially during week 2 to 3, week 4 to 6 at 4 months and 6 months. And also cluster feeding may help babies to regulate as their nervous system is still immature. But what can you do as a new parent to make cluster feeding easier for you and your family? So it does help to change breastfeeding positions frequently so that you won't get sore. Also planning ahead. So if you see that there is a pattern to your baby's cluster feeding behavior, let's say they usually feed in the evenings, it can help to eat beforehand, use the toilet and get comfortable. What I used to do when my babies went through cluster feeding periods, I often prepare a slow cooker meal in the mornings and have my husband cut up my dinner for me so I could breastfeed and have dinner myself at the same time. Then set up a nursing station in a comfortable spot of your house, i.e. in front of the TV, and have everything that you will need during cluster feeding within easy reach, such as a bottle of water, a snack, a muslin cloth, and your phone and chargers if you want to listen to audiobooks or podcasts, or call a friend. Consider using earbuds so that you can have your hands free to support the baby during breastfeeding and still listen to your audiobook or to your phone call. If you have older siblings or a toddler that still requires your supervision and wants to be near you, you can make them a special feeding basket as well that contains some toys or books that only come out during times of feeding, and then consider going down on the floor with them, breastfeed on the floor with a lot of cushions and pillows around you, so that you're at their level but you can be comfortable at the same time. If you're already a pro at breastfeeding and have mastered the art of effective attachment, then you could consider practicing latching your baby in a sling or a carrier so that you can walk around the house and tend to other children if necessary. A very important point is to let your partner take over whenever it's possible, to give you short breaks, and also talk to your partner about expectations, especially expectations around evening chores, and delegate evening chores such as bath time of all your children to your partner. So accept help whenever you can during this very intense period of cluster feeding, and if you can afford it, having postpartum support such as a doula or a cleaner can be wonderful. So I hope you found these tips helpful. Leave me a comment below to share with us what helped you when you went through cluster feeding periods with your baby, as we can all learn from each other, as it's really true that the days are long but the years are short. Subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you back here, and otherwise until next time, Hope your breastfeeding journey is going well.